So we're at a lift bridge. Sue's gone to do it with the windlass. There we go. It's certainly a beautiful morning, and this is bridge 22.
Delegation there, is it?
Yeah, she's better at it than me. I think we're there. There we are. Clunk. I've lost my boat. We're at the next lift bridge, and we've let the boat behind us go through in front, because he's only got to moor up and get off, and so let him go through, and then we'll close it behind when I've gone through. But he did say that he would do the next one, so that's a bit of mutual aid. So this is bridge 24, I don't know what the name of it is, but this one's key operated because I think it's a highway, a public highway, so although there are no barriers, no, it's only a track, but it's key operated anyway. Disley now. Just going to pass this little cottage. We've just negotiated another swing bridge. But the boat behind, they operated it and let us through. We arrived at Whaley Bridge around lunchtime on the 30th of May, and it was a hot day, and we decided that instead of carrying on cruising, we'd moor up under the trees and spend the afternoon looking round Whaley Bridge. And it's at Whaley Bridge that the canal receives its water supply, which comes from Toddbrook Reservoir, situated above the town, and this is fed by the Toddbrook. Not only does this supply the water to the Peak Forest Canal, but because the Peak Forest is at the summit of the whole canal system that it's connected to, it also feeds water into the Macclesfield and Ashton canals. In August 2019, part of the auxiliary spillway at Toddbrook Reservoir failed after a period of intense rainfall. This event made the national news, and many people will remember watching the Chinook helicopter bringing in material to drop on the spillway in an attempt to stabilise the damage. So as we'd got the afternoon spare, we decided we'd have a wander up to Toddbrook Reservoir to see how the work was progressing on the repair to the reservoir. So while we have a look at some silent footage of what we saw, I'll give you a little bit of background into the history of the Peak Forest Canal. The Peak Forest Canal was begun in 1794 and was designed to transport limestone from the quarries of Derbyshire. The canal opened in 1800, but it wasn't until 1804 that Marple locks were finally completed. It runs for a little under 15 miles from Dukinfield Junction on the Ashton Canal to Bugsworth Basin, with a short spur to Whaley Bridge. Stone was brought down the hillsides to Bugsworth Basin by a plateway, a flat iron surface upon which broad-wheeled trucks were kept in line by L-shaped uprights, and then taken by boat to Manchester. By the end of the 19th century, the basin was handling over 600 tons of limestone a day. Other cargoes included coal, cotton, grain and manufactured goods, with commercial traffic continuing on the canal until 1959, though Bugsworth Basin had closed in 1926. The canal is in two distinct parts. The upper section, one of the highest summits in the country, runs along the valley of the River Goyt, and this is the section that we travelled along. The lower section runs along the valley of the River Tame. Separating the two is Benjamin Outram's splendid stone Marple aqueduct, together with its slightly higher railway viaduct neighbour running parallel. At Marple Junction, the Macclesfield Canal, 30 years younger than the Peak Forest, is encountered. Between the junction and the aqueduct is the magnificent flight of 16 locks rising over 210 feet. Fortunately, we avoided that flight because we turned left onto the Macclesfield Canal. The Peak Forest Canal has long been associated with the Ashton and Macclesfield Canals, as all three were in common ownership of the Manchester, Sheffield and Lincolnshire Railway prior to nationalisation of the canals after World War II. Following a period of dereliction in the 1960s, restoration was begun by local volunteers, and the length between Marple and Dukinfield was reopened along with the Ashton Canal in 1974. This part now forms part of the Cheshire cruising ring. The Macclesfield Canal runs from Marple in Cheshire to Hall Green, near the northern end of the Harecastle Tunnel on the Trent and Mersey Canal, a distance of 26 miles. The additional 1.5 miles of the Hall Green branch that connects the two was built by the Trent and Mersey Company, but it is also now considered to be part of the Macclesfield Canal. The Macclesfield Canal was designed as a direct link between Manchester and the Midlands, and following its Act of 1826, the canal opened 5 years later. It was one of the last narrow-gauge canals to be built, and the audacious cut-and-fill techniques, high embankments and ambitious cuttings are all indicative of Thomas Telford's hand. As this was a lake canal, the lessons of earlier works were incorporated. Locks, for example, are all grouped closely together for efficiency of operation. Consequently, today's leisure boaters find that a few hours' burst of energy is rewarded with miles of lock-free cruising either side of the flight. It was hoped that the Macclesfield Canal would decrease journey times and therefore reduce costs between Manchester, the Potteries and the Midlands. It also served mills, quarries and mines around Macclesfield, Congleton and the Peak District. However, it wasn't very successful and the canal passed into railway ownership in 1846. Although suffering the effects of competition, it was still being used for freight carriage until the 1960s. Fortunately, the local cruising club had by this time already been using the waterway for many years, and so its leisure potential was established. It remained navigable despite some of its near neighbours falling into dereliction. Hopefully that brief history of the Peak Forest and Macclesfield canals gives a little bit of background to our cruise and these videos. And it was also interesting to just have a look round Toddbrook Reservoir. Gives you an appreciation of the scale of the work that's going on up there. Well, we finally made it to Whaley Bridge. It's Sunday the 30th of May, it's Bank Holiday Sunday, and here we are just on the edge of Whaley Bridge Basin. We've turned the boat, so we're ready to head back that way towards home, and tomorrow we're going to go into Bugsworth and we're going to get some water and do the toilet, get rid of the rubbish. The branch to Bugsworth is just down there, about less than half a mile, so it won't take long to get there. We've had a good run. We didn't get too held up. It was just slow progress because of moored boats more than moving boats. We've only seen less than half a dozen boats on the move. We've had a few swing bridges and lift bridges to deal with, but that wasn't a problem. So we got, as I say, we got here about lunchtime, and we had a stroll this afternoon up to look at the reservoir, Toddbrook Reservoir, which suffered damage a couple of years ago. Toddbrook Reservoir actually feeds this canal, and currently it's drained so that they can carry out the necessary repairs to the bund. So the supply of water to the canal at the moment is pumped directly from the River Goyt, which is just to my left, and it's pumped into the basin at Whaley Bridge. So that's 2 pumps running continuously feeding water into the canal, which is obviously a temporary measure. Normally it comes straight from Toddbrook Reservoir. I'm not sure where the feeder is, but I think it's probably somewhere here. But obviously that's not in use at the moment because the reservoir is drained. So it's on the way home tomorrow. I've calculated it's going to take us 12 or 13 days to get back, depending on the time that we hit Harecastle Tunnel. That will dictate really when we get home. So we'll see a bit nearer the time where we moor up for Harecastle Tunnel. It's about 4 days away, that is, so it's a bit too early to say at the moment how long it's going to take us to get back home. But we start out on that journey tomorrow, Bank Holiday Monday.